Biden is, what is he doing? Is it $100 million he's giving now to Department of Homeland Security to ensure against anti-authoritative groups? And of course, the right is bugging out, saying, oh, they're just going to go after people. This is all in response to January 6th. So now the right's going, oh, they're just going to go after people for criticizing the government or whatever. But I think they say in the bill, they specify this won't be for anybody saying anything. You can say anything anti-authority you want. They just want to make sure they don't have any like organized radicals, and also organized radicals in law enforcement or the military. So that's what they're spending the money for. So that's what they say, though. And I get people in America, you're always concerned because you're going like, is that what you're going to do? Are you going to keep it to that? Or are you going to start policing comedians' podcasts to find out if they joked about something and then put them on a terror list? Mm-hmm. So that's what she's saying. But the left is saying, oh, we're doing this to fight the white supremacists. So that's what's happening there. Are there white supremacists out there? There are. There just are. There just are. Are they very organized and a threat? I haven't seen much evidence to say that. Like I've said on the podcast before, the Nazis sold out the garden in 1930-something. That's a threat. The Ku Klux Klan used to have membership of like hundreds of thousands. That's a threat. The Ku Klux Klan now, they're like the mafia. They had their day. And now it's just, you make movies about them. Throw them in movies. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like even when those groups get together and march with their tikis, what is it, like 200 dumb kids, 300 dumb kids? Still disturbing, But you're always going to have those extreme assholes. Unfortunately, it's a horrible world. You're going to have racists. You're going to have those lone wolf assholes like that kid who shot up that fucking church, which was one of the most horrific crimes of all time. What's his name? Dylan Roof.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid, they should have just been, this is what I'm for, like genetic stuff. They should have registered that kid as like, there's a chromosome missing on that kid. Remember that kid? He had like the bowl cut. I mean, he looked like he was out of a movie.
Oh, you think of the kid who shot up the
church,
the kindergarten?
No, the church. Dylan Roof.
Yeah,
the kid who shot up the kindergarten also looked
the black church,
like he was missing a chromosome. Like you got to watch those kids.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Roof. I mean, the kid looked like he, the kid didn't look like he had full chromosomes. Which is always ironic. That isn't it funny that the people who always preach white supremacy are the worst representatives of it? It's never like some 6'7" Dirk Nowitzki looking scientist who's also an amazing athlete with a 10-inch dick. It's always some kid like this who's trying to convince people that he's the master race. Cuz Dylan, you're not the master anything, dog. I mean, look at that kid. He is Franks and beans to the bone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a kid who's not good at anything. Look at this kid. Boy. It's really ironic that the guy with 2 teeth and a fat gut with a Confederate flag is going like, we're the master race. I'm going like, if we're the master race, we need a new representative. You're a horrible spokesperson.
He looks like he tries to catch fireflies in his mouth.
Yeah. Look at him. He's wearing a Gold's Gym shirt, and the kid obviously does not go to Gold's Gym. I mean, he's a fucking skinny, inbred-looking squeak with a bowl cut.
You got those people who try to prove they have the master race, and that's why I do think white supremacy still exists, but it's not as organized.
Of course it still exists.
White supremacy is only organized during the NBA Finals. When LeBron and dunking on people and Kevin Durant's doing 360 twists, white supremacy is at an all-time high, dog.
Yeah. And what do you mean by that? People are just like, they feel inferior.
White people
get inferior.
They're inferior.
Yeah.
It's like, if they don't sub in JJ Redick right now, I'm going to burn down this local church.
JJ Redick is what you call a diversity hire. There were some diversity hires. Because you know a lot of teams do that. Because they look at the fan base and they go like, they know the white people like root for white players. So like Brent Price was like a diversity hire. Brent Price didn't. There was a lot of black ball players. Now Mark Price, of course, was great. Now, this may be before your time. Do you know who Mark Price is?
Yeah, I know Mark Price.
You're a smart kid. You read your fucking basketball history.
Thank you.
Mark Price was an animal.
Yeah.
But his brother Brent Price, or how about, I think even Danny Hurley was in the league for a second. I mean, come on. What are we talking about?
You got to have those diversity hires, son. You think New Jersey can have an all-black team? No, you
can't-
had
no.
to have a Keith Van Horn on that team, son.
Yeah. Well, Keith Van Horn was pretty good.
Well,
but you know,
he looked like he knew his way around a computer.
he looked like he gave birth to Dylan Roof.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, he looked like he was Dylan Roof's father, Keith Van Horn. Yeah, you need white players in Utah. Have you ever noticed the Utah Jazz team is always suspiciously white?
Yeah.
Suspiciously white.
Until they had Gordon Hayward there. And now
Yeah,
they got
it's
Joe
always
Ingles.
like, Stockton, Hornacek, you know. Danny Hurley, yeah, I mean, I think he's a better coach than Bobby now, but I mean, like, Danny Hurley should have never made the NBA. Brent Price should have never made the NBA. Maybe I'm wrong, Danny Hurley. I think Danny Hurley played for second. He played for Seton Hall.
Didn't you get into a big car accident or something?
No, that's Bobby.
Oh, that's Bobby.
Now, Bobby belonged. Bobby's
Yeah,
one of the
Bobby,
greatest
right.
college players ever to live, and you know he was decent before the accident. I mean, he would have had a 10-year career.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Brian Scalabrine, or as I like to call him, basketball's Michael Rappaport.
thing about Brian Scalabrine though is he's pretty. If you look at him in college, he was but Brian Scalabrine, I think. But yeah, he's a 12th man. Your point. I agree with you. Brian Scalabrine was a good, really good college player, and pretty athletic and a decent bench player. But you're right. He's an 11th, 12th guy. It could be. There's a lot of guys who aren't white who could do what Brian Scalabrine did in the league. So you go like, hey, is that a diversity hire? Sometimes there's a couple of diversity hires. You can clearly see in the NBA there's a diversity hire.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of those shooter guys. I remember the one shoot. You know, they come in. They can. You know, it's like there's a lot of guys who can hit an occasional three. You know, it's like it happens. Where did we start with this?
We talk about peace.
Nobody remembers.
Democrats, white supremacy.
White supremacy is where we start.
Yeah.
Yeah, white supremacy. So, yeah, there definitely is white supremacists. They're definitely not as big of a threat as they were. I would say, unless there's more evidence out there I haven't seen, it's a lot less of a threat. And it depends on the region. It really does depend on the region. Like, unfortunately, New York, there was a lot. I mean, the Nazis that filled the garden, a lot of them were from Ridgewood, Queens. It was a German neighborhood. They shared a lot of that ideology, that anti-Semitic kind of superior race ideology. A lot of them were from Ridgewood. New York, places like that, Boston, it's just, you're not going to have, you have racists, but you're not going to have like organized white supremacists. You're going to, in Florida and Georgia, you're going to have a problem still. Mm-hmm. You're going to want to start focusing more regionally. Like, there's no reason for there to be a white supremacy watch in like Boston, Massachusetts. It's over there. You know what I mean? You're not going to need to go to Atlanta and be like, we're on the watch for a movement that may spring up here. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have to go to LA and go like, when's this white supremacy group going to happen? Not going to happen. You're going to have to go to Florida and Georgia, Arkansas, Mississippi, you know, and then you're going to find that they're pretty kind of, they're like that. They look like, you know, they look like Dylan Roof. And, you know, you got to keep an eye on those ones.
The insecure ones.
Yeah.
You got to keep the eye on them.
You got to keep your eye on them. But, so that's how this has become partisan too, as everything becomes partisan. You know, the right's going, oh, he's going to use this to, you know, get everybody who says anything. And then the left is quiet on this one. I haven't heard any support for it necessarily, except beyond the usual, you know, the white supremacists are everywhere. So that's that.